Hello there, guys. Welcome back to Younes Talks Football. I hope all of you are doing well. So, this is a must-watch video. Yeah? And I'll explain why. There's something to say on this player on screen. But we've got other things to cover before we get to that. So make sure you stay tuned till the end, because we will address this whole situation. There's been news on this player, and I've got a few things to say. But go and check out video number 1 if you haven't done so already. This corner right here, you can go and have a click, have a look, and go and have a butcher's at what went down earlier on. But this video has quite a lot of meat and potatoes as well. So let's get right into it. And we're starting off with Noni Madueke. It's been official. It's been done. It's been made public, ladies and gentlemen. Noni Madueke has left to join Arsenal, and he's been unveiled. So let's get into all of it. Here it is. Chelsea, with the confirmation, Noni Madueke has today departed the Blues on a permanent deal. We thank Noni for his efforts during his time at Chelsea. And obviously, like I've said prior, you know, good luck, but not too much, because you're going to these lot. Talent in abundance. Noni Madueke is a gunner. Narrated by artist and Arsenal and the community alumni, Stazzy. Well, there's Noni Madueke in Arsenal red. He went on to speak to Arsenal socials, and he said that he reckons that the Arsenal team at the moment have the potential to win everything. Noni, you was always funny. I'll give you that. You was always funny. Right, and you always had bants. Yeah, you always had banter, and you know, the leader of Mandem FC. I'm not even lying, you know. Actually, the one thing that I'm like, oh man, I kind of wish he didn't leave, was because he is the leader of Mandem FC, man. How is the leader of Mandem FC the first one to go? You know what I mean? In that regard, I'm a little bit hurt, because I enjoyed the whole Mandem FC thing. But let's hear what he's got to say, because he spoke to the Chelsea fans. Here it is. So he says his goodbye to Chelsea on his Instagram, saying, "Dear Chelsea Football Club, I want to thank you for the last 3 or so years. To every staff member that helped me along this way, thank you. To my teammates, thank you for everything. I leave with only love and admiration for you guys. We achieved so much this season, and I honestly wish you guys nothing but the best. To Enzo Maresca, it was a privilege to play under you. Thank you for trying to better me as a player and as a person. Lastly, thank you to every single Chelsea fan. Thank you for the love, the praise, and also the criticism. I appreciate it all. I leave here with nothing but fond memories. Love, NM11." And you know what? I think that's a really nice message. And I appreciate that. Because he said a couple of things in there that I don't want it to go unnoticed. Yeah? I don't want it to go unnoticed. And this is where I want to remove sentiment from what we actually see from the player on the pitch. Because I know there was a lot of people that wanted to keep Madueke based off sentiment because they liked him. That's not how football works. You have to be ruthless. You have to be. End of story. Are you performing or not? You could be the nicest guy in the world, but I'm sorry, that metric comes before anything else. Now, you could be talented and bringing it, but you could be a nuisance and that could destroy you. But you have to bring it. Madueke mentioned 2 things there, and I want to highlight this. The first thing is that he only highlighted Enzo Maresca in terms of his... I mean, he worked under more than one manager, no? He only highlighted Enzo Maresca, which is a little bit... I don't know, is that a surprise? Is it not a surprise? I don't know. But I think maybe it highlights, is it just recency bias, or does he actually really value Enzo Maresca and the type of manager he is, maybe the sort of man manager he is as well behind the scenes, which we don't really get access to, but maybe. I just thought I would highlight that, because normally players, they thank all of their past coaches and everything, and he's only highlighted Enzo Maresca there, so maybe that says a lot about Enzo Maresca. Secondly, he says, thank you for the love, the praise, and also the criticism. I appreciate it. Good. I'm glad. That shows at least that he listens to the criticism. Because as a footballer, in today's age, you have to. You ain't got a choice. So are you going to get thick skin and suck it up and deal with it and try and better yourself? Try and silence them? Or are you going to let it crumble you? Because this is the highest level. And I think as a footballer, as a person, I think he did take it on board. He never looked like the sort of player that broke down or anything. He never did. My only issue with Madueke is just legitimately, are you actually good enough? That is it. You know, to be at the highest level. That was my only gripe. Because for many games, it just seemed like he was just below par. You know, or average. And we needed more. We needed more. That I will stick by. We needed more. That's why I'm not gutted to see him gone. But it's common knowledge as a person in terms of his role in the squad, how he was with his teammates, his personality. And I think even his approach was all really professional. So respect to him. As I've said, good luck. Not too much because you've gone to Arsenal, I'm afraid. Maybe when you leave them, I'll wish you more luck. But what went down? What went down with Madueke? What was the reasoning? What happened? We get some insight today. It's all coming out. Here it is. Noni Madueke never asked to leave Chelsea. Even last year, when he was aware they were open to moving him on. He recognised he was part of a previous generation of Chelsea signings and that the club was moving in a different direction. With Joe Shields came a trust and focus on former City Academy talent, Palmer, Lavia, Delap and Gittins. Madueke sensed he and the club were drifting apart. On top of this, we also have Chelsea ran a comparison of Noni Madueke statistics against Kudus, Elanga and Mbuemo, which reflected well on Madueke. They used his data to justify an asking price in the region of £60 million in negotiations with us. You see, for this is where I will say, you know what? Data used well. Chelsea Football Club. Data used well. Have to. You know, I'm not a data merchant, but bloody hell, if they've done that to justify his value and they've actually got Arsenal to pay, then fair flipping play. Fair flipping play, lads. You've pulled a blinder here. You actually have. So much so, we've even got, and I wanna show you this. We've even got the Arsenal admin now plucking out all of these sort of stats, should we say. Progressive carries, touches, XG. All the big numbers behind Noni Madueke's rise to prominence in the Premier League. Nah, listen, lads, you've been finessed. You've been finessed, lads. You've been finessed. Look, correctly so, right? One of their supporters have actually asked, what about goals? That's the most important stat of all, no? But anyway, not to do with Madueke, but in terms of the business that Chelsea have pulled off here is actually quite phenomenal. That's a really, really, really good piece of business. To pocket 60 million, basically, total. And highlight the comparisons with, as mentioned, Kudus and Mbuemo and Elanga. Hey, it's exactly what Chelsea had to do. It is. So fair play. Chelsea have pulled one here and they've done very, very well. Now, that's not to say, like I've said, oh no, you know what, Madueke is going to be rubbish for Arsenal, ha ha ha. No, he won't be rubbish. He won't be rubbish. But I think he'll be average. Like with us. That's my thing with Madueke. I don't expect him to light it up at Arsenal. I think he'll be an okay player. He'll be good backup to Saka. That's it. 60 million, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Whilst we are looking elsewhere. And we are bringing in what we're bringing in. And in fact, we brought in João Pedro, and that's looking mad. And now we've got other names. We brought in Gittins. We're still yet to see him. But there's other things happening now. Unexpected things. Now, let me know your thoughts on Madueke down below and all of that I've mentioned. Let's get to this guy. I told you guys something very interesting in video number 1 earlier on. Okay? And that was, I don't sense how this deal would make sense. Well, we have some more information. So let's go through that, and then I'm going to tell you what I think now, right? Because I've done some digging. Chelsea and Arsenal among clubs attentive to Xavi Simons' situation this summer. He's prepared to leave Leipzig as revealed since May, and Premier League top clubs are informed. No bids or talks yet. Nothing concrete with Barca so far. But on top of this, we have Chelsea and Arsenal are in the race to sign Xavi Simons. Chelsea see Simons as a potential replacement for Nkunku. It's understood suitors are hoping to agree a fee of £56 million. We then had Chelsea and Arsenal attentive to situation of Simons, first revealed by Fabrizio on YouTube earlier on. This is Ben Jacob saying Arsenal and Chelsea both have Xavi Simons on their radar, as reported last month. Leipzig haven't had any approaches or bids yet. Simons keen on a Premier League move and to leave this summer. Leipzig paid €50 million plus €30 million, but not all add-ons triggered since leaving PSG. €65 million plus add-ons is understood to be a realistic ballpark. This is all for Xavi Simons to leave Leipzig. Leipzig, who he just joined in the winter on a permanent deal from PSG. He was on loan for 2 years from PSG to Leipzig, and we've seen him at Leipzig since, but he's only just signed, really, pen to paper on a permanent. I mentioned this earlier on in video number 1, and I was like, why is he just leaving now all of a sudden? What's the issue? Well, there is one important factor, you know, and this is something that I ignored, and I didn't know up until when I actually went and I checked, and I was like, oh yeah. Leipzig are not playing European football next season at all. They finished 7th in the Bundesliga. So he's probably looking and going, well, crap. I was at PSG. They've now done really well since me. I've signed for Leipzig, but I've not got Champions League. I've not even got Europa League. I've not even got Conference League. I've got nothing here. So he's probably thinking, I want a big move. And now Premier League clubs have been alerted and Chelsea and Arsenal are on the radar. But I also mentioned to you guys, how would he fit? How would he fit? Because, as it said there, he could well and truly be a replacement for Nkunku. But Nkunku doesn't really fit. However, that's only if you're looking to play him as an attacking midfielder right now whilst in competition with Cole Palmer and we're bringing in Esteval Willian. That was my logic. But when you actually do some digging, and we know that he has played off the left before, I actually went throughout big portions of today, going and looking at RB Leipzig, okay? Not no 10-minute comp. Literally, portions and portions of games, looking at Xavi Simons. How is he used? What attributes can he bring? How is he utilized? How is he offensively? How is he defensively? And I'm looking, I'm going, oh my goodness. I feel like I'm having a João Pedro realization. Because I said earlier on, you know what? I would rather Rodgers. Rodgers, having been Premier League proven, we know how versatile he is. I didn't quite understand how Xavi Simons was quite versatile too, it seemed. Maybe not quite as versatile as Morgan Rodgers in the sense of how I think Chelsea could use him. But when you factor the important point of we could replace Nkunku with Xavi Simons, that signals to me that we could still go for another attacker after Xavi Simons if we do let go of Nicholas Jackson. Because Xavi Simons doesn't play as a striker at all. Can play as an attacking midfielder. We know this. But he can also play as a left winger. And he can also play as a right winger. But when I've done my digging and I'm actually looking and I'm watching, I'm going, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, personally, I knew that he was a good footballer, yeah? But when you dig into the detail, when you actually watch his performances consistently over games throughout a league campaign, we've seen him at international level, and I don't want to really bring that because this is about Chelsea, this isn't about country. So I go and watch Leipzig, and I'm watching tons of footage. couple of hours on end. And I'm like, oh my God. It's like I said, it's a João Pedro realization here. In the same way that I looked at João Pedro and I wasn't quite sure, I'm not so sure about this one. And he's lit it up, and now I'm like, no. He's convinced me in terms of the actual footballer and the profile he is. He's convinced me. He's absolutely convinced me. Because why? He's got a footballing brain. Guess who else has a footballing brain? I urge you to go and watch him properly. Don't watch a 10-minute comp on YouTube. I'm not talking about that. I'm actually going and talking about dig up the archives of Leipzig last season, and even before that, for the last two to 2.5 years of him at Leipzig, and you'll see what I mean. He's got so much more in the locker than I actually anticipated. He's brave. He's got skill. He gets past defenders, but it's not just that. He's versatile on the left as well as in attacking midfield. Not so much utilized on the right-hand side, but has played there for quite a few times too. But it's not just that. He's got vision. He notices players in situations that you just wouldn't think, it's a bit risky to try and pull that off. And he does. You see them passes, maybe in and around defenders that he makes through balls that are quite difficult to make. He does. Drives the ball. He's not afraid to shoot. He's not afraid to shoot. And I saw some goals and I'm like, oh my God. Well, how did I not see this goal before? You know, some goals, literally, there was one, I forgot where it was, but he took it on the chest, turned. It was like a Drogba turn. He took it in between two defenders, literally on the chest, turned and smashes it. His goal was his back was towards goal. Next thing you know, he's put it into the bottom corner. I'm like, oh. But not just that. Super technical in very tight spaces. Happy to drive at defenders and utilize space and take shots, and he places his shots pretty well. He has very good power, it seems. It's not just all of that on the offensive standpoint either. And this is why I think Chelsea will be interested in Xavi Simons. He bloody defends too. Oh my God. He gets stuck in. He will fight to the death to go all the way back, get the ball and go up again. And that caught my eye. And that's where I'm like, oh crap. Oh, he's really about this life. He's really about this life. But in the same way that I was praising Malik Fofana, if you remember, on some of the skill that you could see and how he works tight spaces and how he's able to get himself out of a situation between 2 and 3 defenders on his case, Xavi Simons is exactly like that too. Consistently. You see comps. This is why I don't like to watch comps. Comps, you get just the best bits. You know, you get the one time he did that and it's like, oh, we can do it. No. Can he do it consistently? Yes, he can. He actually can. He has very good speed to his game. The one thing that I was looking to him was, is he going to be able to, this is in the Bundesliga. The Bundesliga we know has a lot of space. Is he going to be able to adapt to that sort of climate in the Premier League? Is he able to execute what he's doing with the limited time that you get in the Premier League? I think he can. And you know what? I think he seems intelligent enough in order to know how to link up. I think he looks like a João Pedro version, but as an attacking midfielder. Not as a front man. Imagine João Pedro, but having to play a little deeper. He seems like that sort of style of player. I think this could work very, very well. I think it could. And now my perception has shifted between him and Morgan Rogers. And look, Morgan Rogers apparently has always been a little bit of a slow burner, like I said in video number 1. Aston Villa are not just going to go, yeah, we'll sell him. But if Xavi Simons is actively looking for a move and he's actively available, and he's available for what, 55 million pounds? He's 22 as well. Extensive national team experience, extensive Champions League experience, extensive, obviously, he's been at the top flight football for a while. I would pull the trigger on this one. I would. If Nkunku was to go, I think we get a massive ROI. Massive. By getting Xavi Simons in. Personally now, I'm sold on Xavi Simons. Bring. I would be happy to see him. I think he looks like a top-level footballer. Oh, boy. How would it fit, though? This is the thing. Would he be cover? No, not cover. Would he be competing with Gittins on the left-hand side? I think he wouldn't be playing as an attacking midfielder at Chelsea. You've got Cole Palmer and you've got Esteval Willian. You would possibly be also playing as a right winger, maybe competing with Pedro Neto. I think that could be the option to have as a left winger, a right winger. We could have him as another third option to play attacking midfield if we have to. And this is where I come to the point that I've mentioned before of Chelsea wanting to be really, really versatile. Where you get this player is super versatile, this player is super versatile, this player is super versatile, this player is super versatile. You're going to be able to get the possibility to change the shape in a game, I'm telling you, 5 or 6 different times. It could be really, really, really difficult for opponents to catch up with that. No one's done it to that level. But we're getting loads of versatile players, and he's another one I would bring. Let me know your thoughts. Have you checked him out extensively? Have you watched him extensively? Have you already seen him in massive, massive portions and you already know how good he is? Or do you have doubts? And if you do, let me know down below. Much appreciated. But let me know what you think and we'll see what happens. But this one I would do. I would. Especially if Nkunku leaves. For me, this will be an upgrade. So, let's take it from there. Nicholas Jackson. What's the latest? Understand Nicholas Jackson is on the shortlist for Manchester United, as the club are looking to bring in a new striker. Nothing advanced yet, and there are more options, but Man United are closely monitoring Jackson's situation. The 24-year-old versatile striker could leave Chelsea if a suitable offer arrives. Many inquiries have been made. His contract runs until 2033. United, there's one thing to do. That's it. Pay up. I thought they were done. They got Mbeumo. I'm like, well, that's that then. But no, they actually do want a striker properly on top of that. Okay, fair enough. Well, pay. You know what to pay? 100 mil, please. I'm just trying my luck on that one. I'm not going to lie. Listen. 80 mil. How's that? No? Okay, 75. Look, we're doing you a bargain here, yeah? 75. Go on. You know it makes sense. You know it makes sense. Go on, United. Come on. 75. What do you say? We'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts on Nicholas Jackson. As we already know, there's no rush for him to leave Chelsea, but if a big offer arrives, Chelsea will consider, well, United, you've got to make the big offer. Simple as that. Cole Palmer has spoken. What has he said? Here it is. I want to win the Champions League with Chelsea and the World Cup with England. That's my bucket list. Oh boy. That's going to happen, mate. Okay, no, look, I'll be honest. Champions League, maybe. And actually, we just smashed PSG left, right, and centre for fun. Yeah, in a tournament, right? Who's to say we can't go all the way in the Champions League then? I reckon, yeah, it's a possibility. But, if you gave me the choice right now, what would you want? The Premier League or the Champions League? Please give me the Premier League. It's been too long. Come on. It's since 2017, lads. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want to go in the same path as United. Yeah, United haven't won it in, what, 12 years. 12 years. We don't want to reach that. Yeah, we don't, and God forbid we reach Arsenal territory. I don't want that. 20 years? No, thank you. Yeah, we got to get back to winning ways with it now. We need that back at the bridge. And I tell you, we need it back at the bridge one more time at least, just in case we move stadium. I want to see the bridge have the Premier League one last time if it really comes to that. Yeah, so Chelsea, we're on a mission. Premier League. If the Champions League on top of that, fantastic. But let me tell you, the World Cup with England, it's coming home. We'll see what happens. Now, I got some interesting news. You've seen Against All Odds. Oh, check this out. It's time to run it back. Against All Odds. Champions of Europe 2012, 2021. World champions. Feroz, my good friend Feroz, who made that iconic video after our Champions League win in 2012, the one that even the whole squad at the time did end up watching, has confirmed there is a new Against All Odds that is being made and will be coming soon. So keep your eyes peeled. The man behind the magic all those years ago, and he delivered it again after 2021. Well, he's about to drop a trilogy. So, Rose, I'm going to let you cook, my friend. Cook. Just cook, yeah? See what goes down. Someone had to do it. It was him. Now, before we move elsewhere, I've got a little bit of news on Chelsea's academy. Thiago Silva's wife, has confirmed, watching you chase your dreams fills our hearts with joy and pride. This is just the beginning of an amazing journey, and we know you'll shine every step of the way. We'll always be here cheering you on. Their boy, Mendes da Silva, has, in fact, I think he's got himself, is it a scholarship, or he's managed to get himself, well, they basically, they've signed. There's a load of these young lads that have now been given proper, guessing, contracts. But him, as well as some other players, have all been unveiled today, right, with their shirts. So Thiago Silva's son is playing for Chelsea, right? And I'm hoping that he's going to kill it. So I'm looking forward to seeing the next generation of Silva in royal blue. Lovely jubbly. Let me know your thoughts on that. Now, before we end, we've got a couple of things that has happened elsewhere. This is mental. This is actually mental. Remember I was talking about Liverpool, Newcastle, Ekitike, Isak, war, blah, 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 and then nothing happened. It all fizzled after 24 hours, right? Well, we got something. There's a third club that have entered the fray. I should have known. Understand, Alexander Isak has been given initial green light to start discussions for Al Hilal. Talks ongoing between the Saudi club and his agents. More to follow. What? You know what's crazy about this? This is like if Strasbourg and Chelsea were negotiating for a player. It's the same guys. Who owns Newcastle? The same people that own Al Hilal. The same people who own Al Ahli. The same people who own Al Nassr. The same people who own Al Ittihad. Yes. The PIF, the Saudis. Wow. It's like handing from one hand to the other hand. Thank you very much to yourself. Don't tell me Alexander Isak's going to Saudi. Surely not. I mean, look, if that's the case, literally, Newcastle have been absolutely finessed this transfer window. Every single target they've gone for has ended up going somewhere else. Every single player they've wanted has not ended up coming to Newcastle. They've wanted to go and get Ekitike. That's not happened. He's going to Liverpool. Then they've gone, you know what? At least we got Isak. And the owners have gone, Habibi, I'm not sure. We've got to bring this player to Saudi. And now Newcastle are like, what? You're stripping me of my shirt? Now you're stripping me of my trousers? What's going on? You're going to leave me in just my underwear? Poor Newcastle. Honestly, poor Newcastle. What is going on here? Surely this doesn't happen. Surely Alexander Isak doesn't go, no, you know what? I'm going to go to Saudi now. Oh, man. Let's see. What do you think will happen there? Personally, look, I think that's a wrong move. I understand the money is unbelievable. I get it. But for Alexander Isak, brother, how old is he? He's 25? Do you know what I mean? He's a killer striker. He's a killer striker. He's the sort of striker that should be playing for Real Madrid. You know what I mean? He's got so much more in his locker. Then you go to Saudi. No problem. You know? Or at least stick it out of Newcastle and see what you can do in the Premier League. Try and do more. We'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts. Man City. This is weird. Man City considering move for James Trafford to return to the club this summer, but only if one of their two main goalkeepers leaves. Contacts took place in the recent days as Man City have buyback clause. This is why Newcastle deal is not sealed yet. See another one. Newcastle wanted this guy. Man City are like, no. We got first priority. Yeah, we got the buyback. So you just wait. Newcastle just like, nothing's gone right this window for them. Nothing. Man City going for James Trafford though. Why? You got Edison. Unless there's a problem. You know, he's not 40. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. Now, unless if Ortega maybe steps out of the way, they bring in James Trafford, and then eventually James Trafford takes a spot from Edison. That makes sense. But talking about Edison, something else happened about him. Galatasaray tried to pull off something very cheeky. Galatasaray have submitted a €3 million bid for Man City goalkeeper Ederson. I thought this was a typo at first. I was like, no, you've missed out a number. They didn't. It's 3 million. 3 million euros. 3. 3. What are you trying to buy him for? One game? Is this a testimonial or something? 3 million euros? Are you serious? I prefer not to speak. That is outrageous. Or maybe their transfer budget has been absolutely depleted. Maybe there's nothing left and they thought, you know what, we might as well try. We might as well try. Why? Because it looks like the deal with Osimhen is finally done. Galatasaray and Napoli have agreed a €75 million fee for Victor Osimhen. Structure of the deal verbally approved by Napoli with only small parts remaining. Galatasaray cautious, but a full agreement is understood to be not far off. So that would mean Osimhen joins Galatasaray. That would mean he gets paid a lot of money. And that probably means that Galatasaray don't have any more money. And now they're thinking, you know what, we might as well just try and throw something at City and see if it works. 3 million for Ederson is it's not even an insult. It's not even an insult. You know, someone put it right. Chelsea Dodgers actually put it right there, asking, is it a loan fee? That's a loan fee. Do you know what I mean? Crazy. But Osimhen, as we all thought, he's going to be at Galatasaray, it seems. That's done and dusted. So, let me know your thoughts on all of those things. Much appreciated. I will be here tomorrow for a brand new one. Make sure you let me know in the comments what you think on everything that I've discussed, especially Xavi Simons. Much appreciated. And I'll catch all of you tomorrow. Look after yourselves. See you there for a double. Take care. Subscribe, notification bell, and peace.